This right here is a scale 118 AM General Hummer by Maisto. This particular car cost around $35. That was mainly because it's actually discontinued, and they're trying to get rid of, or it's one of the very few that are still out. But this review also stands pretty good for the wagon, which still exists, as well as the military version of this SUT style Hummer right here. So this is the green that this came in. It also comes in blue. It's still being sold this time, not for long. It's no longer in the catalog, even though the wagon still is, just for the 4-passenger pickup, I should say. But you should still be able to find it. Overall, this is a pretty impressive car, although it does have some issues that are. See, that this is how I look at this car. It's on some sides it's excellent, and on the other parts it's simply awful. So I will get started with the awful and then move over to the positives. So normally Maisto doesn't do this, but this is plastic, that's plastic, this is plastic, that's plastic, that's plastic. There's a lot of plastic on this car. The bumper here, same thing with that. And it really is kind of cheap plastic all along. You don't like to see that, especially on a Maisto, because they don't typically do it. And because it's plastic, even though you don't necessarily see it in this light, the coloring is slightly different than the metal. Actually, there's very little metal on this car. We have the hood that's metal, and that comes around. And whereas this is very metallic, this right here is more kind of a matte color. Another issue, for some reason, even though this is also metal, the hood, it has less of a metallic look than the metal on the side. Very, very strange. Not quite sure why. It's almost like they were piecing these together from different cars. Also, continuing with issues, yes, that is pretty loose right there, and this back doesn't open, and you can't really do anything with this either, so that's going to stay that way. But whatever. Okay, so after I've sufficiently torn apart this car, now I'll get into the detail, and the detail is excellent, I will say. Aside from the poor quality doors and the roof, the detail and the look of it is excellent. So enough with the negativity here. So up front, we do have the headlight with the peg in it, but it doesn't bother me too much because that's kind of where the halogen bulb would be anyway. In here we have a really good grille, very well designed. Got the little kind of mesh holes in it. Almost never see that on a Maisto. It's very impressive. Good detail there. That 6.5 liter turbo diesel engine right there, as well as a Hummer logo. These locks, they look really real, I have to say. And springs, which are actually not only functional, but serve an aesthetic purpose as well. Because if you look at it, that's where the actual suspension would be on the truck in real life. Now, for convenience purposes, I've already undone these right here. Similar to the H2 that I did earlier, this has locks on the hood, understandably, because this thing's going off-roading a lot. So we can see the bottom of that grille. Same thing with the top right here. It does have holes in it. It really gives it a nice look. You can see a shadow of my hands in it. Radiator, everything in place. Really, really nice labeling. It says no step right there. Thing's so big they have to put no step on the engine. It's incredible. And this is my favorite part. There's the air filter. Thing looks like a barrel of oil rather than an air filter. I mean, everything about this car is just big and incredible. There's that 6.5 liter turbo diesel engine, which actually moves all the way into over the dash. So very good detail when it came to that. I'm gonna leave that like that because it just takes too long to put it back into place. Really nice rugged tires. with that inflation system written on the CTIS. Let's get up close to this now. Turbo diesel. Okay, now up close you can start to see a little bit of the difference between the plastic and the metal here. Slightly. Doors do open in the back, which is surprising, but still very cheap. A lot of these rivets running all along the truck. Underneath, really an incredible underbody. Let me just zoom out here. There we go. An incredible underbody. This right here is duct tape, and the reason for that is because this truck actually came with a broken steering column and the wheels weren't staying in place, so that's just a temporary fix. I'm going to have to make it look a little bit nicer, but whatever, you gotta do what you gotta do. Duct tape seems to be the best thing for it. All that protection on the back, on the front. It's not often that you see a truck with protection of the differential on the back. But then again, this is military grade, so it should be able to do that. Wheels do turn, as you can see. On the inside, it's kind of hard to look in there. I'll see if I can zoom. Yep, there we go. Pretty good dials. Not too much color, but it's definitely not bad. Definitely not the worst. Hummer logo on the steering wheel. This very flimsy looking steering wheel, that is. The seats, really nice texture to them. Looks like cloth. Continues in the back. Only 4 seats. This is one of the original Hummers. So we're pretty good on the interior. Pretty good on the exterior as far as details go. These mirrors, reasonably sturdy. They'll do it. And you can see that separation between the metal and the plastic right along there. Okay. Oh, one last little detail. Diesel fuel. Right on there. Also see this really nice mesh cover. It's not really mesh plastic, but it looks really good. So overall, I do have to recommend this car simply because of its looks, and it looks really good from a distance, especially. But at the same time, I can't say that it's the best Maisto I've ever seen. While it does have the very important details in here and on the interior, very fine, very attention to detail, it's just the cost-cutting measures that really bother me, like the plastic doors and the fact that the back doesn't open.